Episode 33. No, switch your fingers around. You had them mixed up.
Oh, no, no,
No, other way. The other way.
I,
I'm
hey,
just messing with you. No matter what you
Don't
do, it's
fall
a
for that,
three.
man.
No, last week
I
he had
know,
the
I
three
know.
and the two mixed up. And but no, yeah, welcome to episode 33. I'm calling it the Alonzo Mourning episode because I can't think of another great player that wore the number 33 unless you guys can.
Man, you better stop playing. You gotta stop playing.
Who?
Scotty Pippen.
No tipping Pippin?
1933. You got also was it Patrick Union Russell wasn't 32 too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's a list, bro.
but I said the greatest of the 33s. No, so yeah, number 33 this is Alonzo Mourning episode. What the fellas think. First of all, overseen by my man Roy Tiger Brown. Boy, I'm still shouting you out, boy, and that'll never stop. And I'm have the pleasure of us being whole, not a third, not a half, not two-thirds. Is one whole tonight. Pause. I hate that pause shit. No, you know what I'm talking about. We all here. The gang's all here. And again, you know my motto. I'm speaking of you, not speaking for you. Fellas, introduce yourselves.
Oh, it's Brandon. I'm always gonna be the passionate one when it
I'm
comes to these
always the
subjects. So
I'm the passionate one, you know.
yeah,
You
yeah.
are you Tito or
Don't.
Marlon? If we was the Jacksons, are you
Yeah,
Tito or Marlon?
Nah, I'm Joe Jackson. That's what. Nah,
yeah, he ain't no Joe.
Nice comeback. Nice comeback.
Hey, so
You
so
know
if you
what?
Joe, if you Joe, who am I then? Who's a
Randy,
laid back Jackson? Who?
Jermaine, Randy or
Jermaine.
Jermaine? Yeah,
Oh,
Right,
Jermaine.
Jermaine. He's
yeah.
Jermaine. He's Jermaine.
Look, you had a family of Jehovah's Witness singing Christmas songs. You know he had to pull his. He was chasing that bag. He had some Jehovah's Witness singing Christmas songs. Mommy's kissing Santa Claus. Bullshit. If Joe got wind of that, he'd have put a foot in Santa Claus' ass, touching on Catherine like that. That wasn't going down,
Hey,
but he made him sing them
hey,
songs.
Elroy. That
What's
can be
up?
a fun fact. I never realized that. I never realized. Like, I knew both sides. I knew about the witness thing, but I didn't put two and two together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's crazy.
Anything to take the bag. Well, yeah, here we are once again. This is as we record today is January 22nd, so 2 days ago. A lot went on. We're going to talk about that later, but we want to talk about a topic that's not getting enough notice, and I'm gonna let Brandon take it over from here. Brandon, you got this?
Oh yeah, definitely. No, it's a shocking event that happened in December on December 9th last year. Robert Brooks, a prisoner, was serving a 12-year sentence, and he was in handcuffs, and this was all caught on a correction officer's body cam. 17 people in total. Excuse me. 15 correctional officers, two nurses, and they all in this room as this man is getting beat severely, fatally. He passed away from asphyxiation and other injuries, bodily injuries, due to these the beating he received and the choking they were doing throughout this video. This is all in a 10-minute span, and our audience out there, you wouldn't even believe that these people have only been fired. They have not even been charged, and it's been over a month. So it's crazy. So if you audience out there, you see this video, I want you to definitely share, get out there. I'm gonna definitely post this with names of these individuals because they definitely need to be charged. Put some pressure, some heat on the asses of the people out in New York because it's ridiculous that it take over a month for the FBI and all these people to come together and charge these individuals. They shouldn't be walking free. If you,
I mean, that
I'll leave.
beating that beating was relentless. It was just brutal. It's like, you know, it was like to the effect that that guy, I don't know what he did. It's like the effect of spitting all those guys' faces and slapping their mama the way he got beat down. And this was all caught on a body cam being worn by one of the officers. And like you said, we talked about this before. They kind of stood in front of him to block out the cameras. But as far as and and I hope I'm wrong when I say this, but I don't think nothing's going to happen. I thought, Biden would have, invoked, some civil rights charges or had a civil rights investigation going on. Because definitely, with our prior leadership, that definitely would have been in play. Civil rights, his civil rights was definitely violated. The man was cuffed. He wasn't a threat to those police officers. Again, out of curiosity, I want to know what he did to invoke such a beating, or if he did anything at all, and they just felt like whooping
So
on somebody.
yeah, I just want to
I'm
add.
not.
I don't think like I would like to know, but I don't think it matters, man. Like I watched the video maybe like an hour ago, and I saw his body go limp, and while he was limp, I seen the officer pick him up by his neck and just shake him like a cat, like you like a dog. You just shook him. I'm like, and he was still limp. I'm like, yeah, he may be gone even at this point. Then they laid him back and started punching on him. It was something I didn't want to see, but I'm not sure if you guys know, but his son just filed for a civil lawsuit. And it's a
Okay,
shame that the civil lawsuit came before the criminal lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? Like not on the son part, like the state should have took over and it should have been a criminal at least right now. You know what I'm saying? So they're just out free with no repercussions. The only thing they're facing is a civil lawsuit at this moment. And I think
and
this
And
is
that,
this is crazy
and
to
it's
see.
funny because it's nothing I want to say out of the ordinary, but
Yeah.
we seen occurrences of people being beat while they were handcuffed, and I mean, they put the full force of the law on on those individuals, but yet nothing's happening with this. And it's funny. We live in a society where at first it was great that we had social media or a platform to post, with our video cameras, what's going on. But it's like we're doing it, and it's like everybody's become numb to it. Like, you know, oh, I'm doing it for the vine or whatever. But here we are watching it, and we're shaking our head in disgust, covering our mouths and just in awe. It's there, but the visibility isn't as visible anymore. It's like it's an average TikTok video. And as I mentioned, TikTok, not to veer off to the subject at hand, we thought they were going to shut TikTok down, but Joe Biden gave it a reprieve to put it in our current administration, President Trump's hand, and at first he was all for shutting it down because it was China based. But yeah, he's giving it a 75-day reprieve before they revisit that subject again. I'm like, what are you expected for in 75 days? If you think TikTok is a threat to American life, why are we giving it 75-day reprieve? And I'm not criticizing Trump because there's actually some things he's doing that, unfortunately, I hate to say, it needed to be done. And we'll get into that as the time comes. But yeah, here we are. We're still letting I don't know, information being violated or whatever. But at the end of the day, we click that accept clause when we download those apps, and we don't even read it. We just want to get to sharing or watching videos without really reading the terms and conditions that's set before them with any app. But yeah, back to that at hand. Yeah, and then it's not that I'm being nosy, but I'm really curious. What did he do, if anything, to set those guys off in a manner like that? That's just
I don't. I don't think. I mean, nothing. The man is cuffed though. If the thing is like when I first watched the video, my reaction, my immediate thought was they don't know what it's like to be in that position, so they need to feel it. To be cuffed and be beaten and knowing you can't do nothing, and you can't call for nobody, you can't ask for help, none of that. All 17 people sit in that room and did nothing to help him, to aid him. 15 of them beat him. Two nurses sit there and watch. That's just ridiculous to me. That's
and
why I
to
say
me, and I want to
all of them
stress
need to feel it.
this is not a black or white thing. This is a white right and wrong thing. and that was the wrong thing to do. Almost to me, it's kind of reminiscent, and I'm not trying to, add fuel to the fire, but I remember seeing those videos from the 50s and 60s when they were, shooting water hoses on us, sick and attack dogs on us relentlessly, women and children alike. And to be here in the year 2025, or when it happened in 2024 or whatever, on the cusp of that, the changeover, these are we're digressing instead of progressing. It's like it's going back to the 50s and 60s.
We we can definitely get into that later in the show when we talk about all the executive orders that current president has put out, and how it's becoming, like you said, a revolving door. It's going back around, and it's only be that close to being it like it's 1950 again,
Right.
1940 again.
And I'm sure in the upcoming weeks, hopefully we hear more about the civil suit placed against these 17 gentlemen, and that there is some real fairness, some real fair action uh, administered. Again, it's not a black or white thing. You had a gentleman handcuffed and getting beat to the point of, like, I don't know, were they trying to resuscitate him so they could beat him some more? That's pretty much, they were so full of hate and anger, or that they were just, I mean, like you said, it was just like blind fury.
One officer took his boot and lifted it dead in the air and came down right on his face. So it's not a, you can't walk and say, "Oh, I didn't intend to do that." Like, it's definitely intentful. And the thing is, to me, how do 17 people sit there and just nobody step in, nobody say this enough?
Yeah.
The man died 7 hours later.
So is it true that their cameras was actually turned off, and that's why we don't have any audio? I guess the police cameras are always live, and they choose to turn it on or not. So we seen the live view of the actual camera system. It wasn't like the guy actually turned on his camera to see it. So basically, he didn't even. No one out of 17 people or 15, no one decided to turn on their cameras like themselves. They had to go back and turn on.
I, I don't even want to see the body footage. I want to see that facility footage. That's what I
Hmm.
want to see. The building footage.
Unedited.
Yeah, yeah, I want to see that building footage because
So I
that
guess in an
room.
examination area, they wouldn't have cameras. That's almost like privacy. I mean, hallways, yeah. Entrance ways, yeah, but not in the examining rooms themselves. I believe they don't have cameras.
I thought
No,
I
I'm
thought
not,
they
I'm not.
changed that rule. I thought HIPAA changed that rule because there was some malpractice with doctors. So now, like doing surgical procedures, you got to have multiple people in the room. But I thought they have cameras now inside of these rooms.
And
I
I'm
thought it
not
was like
saying
it
you're
was
wrong.
like
I'm not saying you're wrong, but when you say that, I'm thinking of, like, if there's a procedure being performed, like on a woman, a pelvic exam or whatever. I don't think you want a woman's, to be violated in that manner. Uh,
yeah.
just as, like, if it's in the operating room and it's a female, or if it's a male and the female's breasts are exposed, or the male's genitalia exposed. I would think at some point there's got to be some privacy or release or something. So I don't think, and I might be wrong. This is why we can have conversations like this. I don't think that there's live cameras in there, but I could be wrong. You could be right.
I I'm not even talking about those cameras. I'm talking about the cameras outside of that room. Cause that beating started way before it got in that room. Cause that man was bleeding before he got on that bed. That beating started way before that.
So yeah, hallways and stuff like that, I'm sure they do have security cameras. But yeah, hopefully we'll hear more about that in the upcoming weeks. So are you guys ready to move on to the next topic?
Oh yeah. Let's get into the
Okay.
inauguration.
Yeah, the inauguration of the 47th president, Donald J. Trump. He's 45 and 47. So many things to discuss about that, and I tried to watch as much as I could at work, but I was working. Uh, One thing I did notice in the inauguration where he takes the swear the oath is that he did raise his hand, but he didn't have his other hand on the Bible. Usually, when you swear on the Bible, you have your hand on the Bible like this, and you do like that. But he did just like this, and that I caught immediately. That really stuck out is that his hand wasn't on the Bible. Now, if you don't believe in the Bible, or even if you do believe in the Bible, you know, how many times have we said swear to God and we was lying our asses off? So what is touching the Bible going to do harm with?
uh,
So, but it's just something I noticed that he didn't put his hand on the Bible as opposed to everybody else. I mean, if I had to, I'd be in court and I'd probably swear on the Bible, and if I had to lie, I'd lie. I mean, my hand is not going to burn. Contrary to what you people believe, oh, if I'm lying, may God strike me down right now. God's not going to strike you down right at that moment, but I'm sure he does have his ways of getting back at you later, saying using his name in vain. Because no, but seriously, I noticed that he didn't put his hand on the Bible, and that just really I immediately caught wind of that. It's just like, huh? I had to do a double take, and yeah, he didn't have his hand on the Bible. Did you guys notice that?
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that. The one thing that stood out to me about the inauguration was I think it was purposely done to be on Martin Luther King's birthday. It kind of felt that way, especially when the pastor got up there and recited his speech, which I felt, I felt he did his speech in a prayer for Donald Trump and the nation, and I felt it was kind of distasteful. Just it
So,
made it look.
not to
I
get
felt
off
it
the
was.
subject, I had a real terrible day at work Monday. It was issue after issue after issue. And then I made the joke. I say, this is what happens when you inaugurate Donald Trump on Martin Luther King's Day. You get shit like this.
so Elroy, speaking of hand gestures, we maybe can talk about this later, but you guys noticed Elon Musk in that salute?
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't defend it. I was trying to find ways to defend. I couldn't bring
So
anything up to
You
defend that.
can't.
I
You can't
saw
defend
it, and with the manner, with the vigor that he, you know, like he was really putting it in your face.
twice.
Now, I heard three times.
Mm.
Three? Three?
Yeah.
So they put up, it was put up on social media. I don't know if it was Facebook or Instagram of other people doing this. There was one, Michelle Obama. It could have been her reaching out to wave, but they caught it at that right moment. And there was two other individuals. I forgot who they were, but they weren't in no way trying to do the Nazi salute. But Elon Musk, you can't tell me otherwise. He did that to get a rise out of people. And I caught that. I was just like, wow, we being open and honest like this. Is this really how you feel right about now? So yeah, that
I think I think that's the crazy part about that is people are so trusting of them. They're gonna put images up to support their argument, no matter if it's wrong or not. Oh, they was doing this already, waving and everything like that. But you see how his gesture went. It went from across his chest to straight out.
he went
That
like,
is a
he did it like, and with the manner, with the force he put it out.
I don't
That was,
I don't know
I,
I don't know if anyone's ever seen the Nazi videos where they salute to Hitler. They go across the chest and straight out. That's what he did. So that's you can't say like, oh, I intended it to be a wave or anything.
that was definitely a Nazi-esque salute. But the other videos that they put out was just still videos. This could have been them waving out, but they just happened to be they caught them at that moment right there when the hand was straight out. But yeah, he did it, and we saw it in live video or replayed video. We know what that was meant for. Um, and this kind of goes back to Donald Trump's first run at president during this time. I felt like he made it comfortable for people that are racist. I'm not saying, white. Oh, I'm saying racist. If you have hate, hateful intent for a particular race or gender or whatever, that's what I'm talking about. Those are races that I'm talking about. But he made it comfortable to come out as a racist during his first presidential run. And
I,
yeah.
I think that's. I mean, you got so many of them, his supporters, and they open with it. That's the thing. And I heard a funny saying, and I'm gonna repeat it, but I think it speaks perfectly. It's it, it says, now that your guy's in office, watch what you come out your mouth because your clothes can still get folded while they on.
Well, no, and
and
that was the case, and I'm not putting him on blast and saying that he encouraged it and egged it on, but him being him, people kind of came out the woodwork of how they really felt about certain people, and they showed a blatant racist side. I don't know if they. I'm not saying they did or didn't, but they mistook the message, and that's how they ran with it.
I think I think it's because those type of people lack empathy. So if they're in the black person's shoes, they won't speak that way they speak. I think because like Elon Musk, I think he lacks empathy too. Because the things he does, if he was a black person and have to go through those same situations, his feelings would change. I don't think he truly cares. I think everything he supports is all business. Same way with Trump. It's gonna money flow, the economy's gonna be great. The business is gonna you're gonna have a lot of money, but people are gonna suffer. And that's where the empathy comes in. They don't even care if you're black, white, or Asian. You're not in their clique. And they don't care. That's what I think really it's about. It ain't just so that they racist. I think they just don't care about the lesser person. And that's gonna shine throughout this 4 year term, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to add too on Elon Musk. I don't want to like put judgment out upon him, but you guys know he is from South Africa, which is stereotypical, like known for being like separate, like the blacks and the whites are being separate. So um
Yes.
so I'm not sure when he came to America, but I thought he came of age. So he also can have that same culture that he all grew up in and brought it here. So he really just don't care. I was trying to see. I know they were saying he did that salute was a Roman salute, but I don't buy it because if you look at any of his talks before, you never see him do it. Like you haven't seen him do this salute ever. So to think that it come all of a sudden during this time, you want to ask yourself like why now? Like why? Even the ones who want like I wanted to defend him. I was the guy like man, dang. But I did my research like no, there's nothing you can say. It was blank. It was like it was what it is. It was a salute, and I think he did on purpose for whatever reaction he wanted to get out of it. It was on purpose.
So I didn't find out till yesterday that he was not from here, from the States. I found that out yesterday, but you confirmed it. It's South Africa, and to say they have a colorful past, you know,
It's not a past.
yes.
It's still today. Like in South Africa, it's still isolated like that. It's still divided. Like
So I say that to say
yeah.
this, whether he knows what he's doing is right or wrong, he was around that behavior all his life, so he's accustomed to it, and so his mindset has been already pre-programmed, so to say. But yeah,
Yep.
him doing that was just really it really again, to a certain extent it didn't surprise me. It was surprising to see it happen, but they like, yeah, we finna cut the food for these next 4 years. And why start? What better time to start is during the inauguration, right? So even with that,
It's just. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's
okay.
just like when you give a person money, it just makes them more of who they are, and now they have power, so it's just gonna be more of who they are, who they already are, and it's gonna change unapologetically too. They
So
ain't gonna
with
care.
that, with the
Damn.
inauguration came the promise of executive orders being signed on the first day. Now, it was rumored that it was going to be 200 executive orders, but during my research, and I kept looking all over, I could only find 26. And
Yeah.
I want to kind of go over some of these, and some of them actually superseded existing executive orders. So
Mhm.
basically, I got 20. I got a list of 26 executive orders that was signed yesterday. And in this list, it gives you what the executive order is. And I'll give you an example. And it gives you what category it falls under. So I just want to start off first with the first one that's on this list. It's called Restoring Names That Honor American Greatness. So Trump already wants to go about renaming things. One of them being the Gulf of currently called the Gulf of Mexico. He wants to rename that, and he actually wants to get a committee started to pay homage to what he considers American greatness. So we know they're starting with they want to rename the renaming of Mount McKinley is one of them. Basically, I don't know what it currently is named under, but yeah, he's trying to get a cabinet started to it's called celebrating the legacy of American heroes. So you might get Mount Rushmore renamed to something else. They don't give a list of what they're trying to rename, but they do speak about the Gulf of Mexico. That was that was one of the things they're looking at renaming. And I don't know how it came to be called the Gulf of Mexico in the first place. That's something to read up on and see about. But another one is designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorists. This falls under the topic of foreign policy. The restoring the government names is under the topic of government, but designating drug cartels as organizations of foreign terrorists falls under foreign policy. They're also looking at another executive order that was passed as more of a social thing, is reforming the federal hiring process so that, I guess people with disabilities don't get court blanche or people of race or whatever. And they're actually looking at individuals that have, I guess, been working remotely since the pandemic. And I guess, and then it's a lot of that still going on, even with in my personal business, is that he wants you back in the office full time. And that right there, I kind of agree with. It was a time where we did have to separate, but now it's time to go back into the office. Long gone are those days. Wearing a dress shirt up and you got your pajama pants on at the bottom. It's really time to no, it's really time to get back into the office and reestablish that social aspect instead of this form like we're doing right now. We're doing it because it's convenient, but this was brought up on with jobs because to prevent the spread of disease. But I think we've kind of gotten over the major COVID hump. So yeah, I think it is time to get back in the office, and showing up and being present instead of this remote stuff, that's going on. I think we personally lose a lot of disconnect with this remote stuff, and we do it all the time. We FaceTime instead of face to face. That's the new face to face right there. Is FaceTime. Well, I can see you, but it's something different about reading a person's body language to me. I was having a conversation about this today there was a lot of misunderstanding about intent based on body language, and it had to do with being distant. So and I'm kind of about that too. Uh, Another one is ending radical and wasteful government, DEI programs, and preferencing. So basically, that's probably going towards, hold on a second, bear with me.
Well, I think we should address some of the first ones you did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
we can talk
stated
about
though.
that. So how do you feel
Uh,
about, is it really important to be renaming monuments with American greatness? I mean, what does that really entail? And is that really getting to the root of the problems that we have in the world today? I think that's so secondary, if not, third on the list to be tackling. But yeah, I told you guys before. I told you guys when he won the election, a lot of things he's building that monument, not that physical monument,
Mm.
but the monument of what we're going to have to deal with and live with for probably the rest of our lives unless these executive orders are overturned. So is that his part of his model for making America great again? I don't know, but again, I don't think it's important. Uh,
Initially,
I
uh,
think
Go
you
ahead.
go ahead, Brandon. No, I was gonna say,
I think
initially I thought I think we lacking.
go
We're
ahead.
lagging.
Go
You
ahead.
wanna
Go
go?
ahead. Nah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say initially I thought it was a Trump thing. Um because he wanted to change a lot of things. But as I'm researching, Obama did it as well also. So I don't know if it's things that the presidents all do. They want to rename things. Why they do it? Maybe to imprint their name in history, so their name can live on. I don't know. But to answer your question, Elroy, it was Mountain Denali, I believe, is what Obama changed it either to or from.
Okay.
Um, and now
True.
Trump want to overdo it and change it back. I don't understand this wrestling thing is going on. But yeah, initially I thought it was a Trump thing, but no, everyone does it, and I don't see why. But it's what I don't care. To be honest, I do not care. It's dumb. It's something to have that as your first order, even mentioning. Like it's nothing of importance to me. I didn't even care for it at all. There's many more that I want to talk about. It was stupid.
That's my example right there. It's just like I say, he has power now and he wants to show it. And this is just showing power, a use of power. And Obama named that to honor Native American.
Mm,
That was his approach to naming that Mount Denali. He was honoring Native American. That was his approach for doing that.
okay.
Trump comes in and wants to change it to McKinley back to American, switching it to that. That's why he's doing it as well. But it's just no purpose really. You just want to show your power. And the golf, the Mexican president is even making fun of it. Name it golf goal. Like it's like I got this power. I'm just gonna do whatever, and that's what it's giving off at that. That's why I don't. I'm with you, Jeremy. I don't even care. Like you just kind of doing whatever.
So
But the,
there's another one, designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorists. How do you respond to that?
I think that's. I mean, it's kind of like I don't know. I don't want to say tongue in cheek because like I feel like they've allowed our government in particular have allowed cartels to operate in our country for financial gain for decades. War on drugs, war on my ass. Yeah, y'all lying, y'all lying. And I just feel that
Yeah.
way personally, cause
Yeah.
To
ain't no
me,
way.
to me, the war on drugs was a war against us. They wasn't stopping it from coming in. They was coming down hard and heavy on after he had made it across the border, and they were in L.A. and it started the big crack epidemic. It seemed like that's where the war on drugs was focused on, as opposed to stopping all the drugs to come in. Now, of course, every now and then we get that report, oh, this, so many kilos was caught, trying to be imported into the United States. But it seemed like their war on drugs was more focused on more of a domestic thing. They wasn't fighting the foreigners from bringing it in. They was fighting the guys that tried to monetize it, aka the drug dealers, and they was going after them like they was flying the planes and piloting the boats with all the kilos in it, and that really wasn't the case. You should have been stopping the source as opposed to stopping, you know. And I'm not trying to say, oh, they was just trying to feed their families. It was just a way of making money, but they made us public enemy number one. And I don't want to say us. When I say us, I mean as in American citizens. When again, we should have been fighting, preventing the countries that's bringing it in. They should have been the main focus. What do the fellas think?
I think, man, they're saying this for PR right now, but them cartels still gonna operate in the U.S. They still gonna have that money. Ain't no way. And if you look it out through history, whether it's a female leader of a cartel to a male leader of a cartel, they making millions a month, 90 million, 100 million a month,
Yeah.
and some of that money is going towards some government officials or some secret wars or some weapons being drawn out. Like it's bigger business than just what this president is saying. You're not gonna stop it. You're not gonna stop it. But good PR, I guess. Good PR.
So yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna
Brandon,
get
I
back to
agree.
these. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just gonna say I agree. It's great PR. He actually used that to help him win the election. But I don't think it's gonna stop anything. I think now the drug now is fentanyl, and you can hide less quantity, so it'd be a little easier to get it in. And I still believe, like Brennan said, in order to get that stuff in, man, it needs to have somebody on the American side, some government official, some military, some base, something to even provide it. And I don't think we're going to crack down like we say, because let's be honest, like drugs and war and gangs and violence, it pays. Our entire system is built around criminal activity. That's why we have private prisons. That's why it's a multi-million-dollar company, so stuff like this would never change. It's good PR. He may decrease it a little and say, oh, drugs and gang went down this much, or we got the cartel to do this, but completely stop it. I don't think it's going to happen because for the most part, it pays. I really think like nowadays, if a company or a country really want to stop that stuff from coming in, they can. Like like all the money that we put in military, like if you really wanted to stop it, we can. It's just if it's not stopped, that means someone's allowing it. Point blank.
So I kind of hipped Brandon to this TV show that I'm kind of addicted to. What is it called again? I can't even remember the name. Contraband seized at the border, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah, seas at the border.
And so, based off this show, I'm gonna tell you the premises. There's been two spinoffs: Contraband seized at the airport and Contraband seized at sea. So, Contraband seized at the border is basically a show. It's centered around Texas, and we have different ways of getting in and out into Mexico or out of Mexico is mostly through Texas, and the border is set up that they have a real extensive setup as to behavioral and just overall just if something seems out of order of taking these cars for secondary screening. They got x-rays, they got canine dogs, and you will see the elaborate ways that they are trying to sneak drugs in. Like some of the ways is putting it in a car battery. I didn't know you could manipulate a car battery and put stuff in it, but you can. The old conventional ways, making a trap door or whatever, putting it under the back seats or even the front seats or the door panels. Some of them even put it in the gas the gas tank too. Uh, you can't put as much gas in it because you got the mass of the drugs in there. In the tires. So they're still trying to get it in, under the government's nose, but at the same time, it was the government allowing it to come in, initially, especially the CIA during the crack era, the 80s. So yeah, that's a good show to check out if you're bored. It's called seized at the contraband, seized at the border. Um, One thing I wanted to bring up, and it kind of veers off a little bit, but it puts it back on track. I was talking to a female friend of mine, and I say female friend is because she was talking to male friends, getting their opinion. And this was a conversation I had yesterday, ironically, is that these men refused to vote for Kamala Harris because she was a female. And the reason why is they say females are emotional creatures. Now, we've heard the jokes where the comedians say, what if a female was president? Oh no, we better keep that nuclear football away from her. She'd be on her period. She launches them all. She just can't get up and launch them. She just doesn't have court blanche to launch. She probably has a key, but there's another key. She just doesn't. She just can't just wake up and do it on her own without nobody knowing. There's just checks and balances. Every president has his advisors or whatever about what you should do and what we doing. So if a female is feeling, you know, emotional or whatever, and she wants to do something, she has her advisors to talk her through it. And it's not like she can just up and declare war or put a bill into play. These bills got to get signed off. Congress has to approve war, but yet these gentlemen chose not to vote for Kamala Harris. And my follow up question was, did they vote at all? Did they vote for Trump or did they not vote at all? But they didn't vote for Kamala Harris just because she was a female. And I think that's stupid to think that even a male like Trump, it might be some things that he wants to do that he won't be able to get past. At the end of the day, they're gonna be like, you know what, that's bad shit. That's bad shit. Crazy number 47. Hell no, we ain't letting you go let you do that. So that's the same
Are they?
mentality, huh?
Are
I
they?
really, I really believe, even though he has the House and the Senate backing in the form of Republican representation, there's still Republicans that won't agree with some things that he put forth. There was some of that going on. Some of them even flipped parties, during this short period of time where uh, Kamala Harris was, in the running. They flipped parties. They flipped parties because they was like, they was me. They was anybody but Trump. We can't have him back in office. There was a lot of
Right.
Republicans against Trump getting back in office. So they're not going to sign off on everything that Trump puts forward. It has to make sense. At the end of the day, they're affiliated with the same party, but when do you say, what, that don't sound right. I can't back that. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of bills that don't pass in his favor because they don't believe in what he's trying to propose. So yeah, and so with that, we had people not vote because Kamala Harris was a woman.
So I just want to add on that, Roy. I just want to add one thing. To not vote because she's a woman is highly ignorant. Um,
Yes, yes.
but to push back is one thing that I did not like about Kamala. And correct me if I'm wrong. When it comes to every other demographic, she mentioned things in like for instance, there was an interview that she did, and they asked her specifically like what can you do for Black people, and she said I'm not gonna I can't specifically do anything for one group, right? So a lot of people took that as well. You but you do. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so many laws is written for other people that get taken account for. Also, what I think she could did better is if you look at all her talks, she power up women, Black women, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. But in a way, if you power up one side without mentioning the other, some Black men can feel isolated, and it could seem one sided. I'm not saying that's smart, but I'm just being the advocate of what a mindset can be. Is one thing she could do better is like group it together rather than isolating the Black women towards the Black man. You know what I'm saying?
I wanna I wanna speak to that. I wanna speak to that because, like you said in the beginning, it's highly ignorant to be. Oh, she's a woman. I don't wanna. Nah, I don't wanna have that power or be a finger to be on that button. To me, with Kamaya, I think one thing she could have done better was not go so mainstream. But debates, uh, going on the media shows, and anything like that. When Obama ran for president, he did a little bit of the mainstream, but he was boots on the ground in every neighborhood, in people's face, shaking hands. Like that's how you get people in. It ain't about like people make it about her being a woman and not being a man. That ain't to me. It ain't had nothing to do with that. I just think people she didn't put herself out there with the people because we go through this every day, this everyday life. Like if you want to connect with people, put yourself out there with everyday life. People out
Right.
there that understand and going through it. Trump didn't necessarily do that either, but he has his strong supporters that see he can do no wrong in his eyes, in their eyes. I'm sorry. That's the difference, and I think that's why he won with the election. And it's
So
still sad. It's still sad that over 60 million, 70 million people don't vote. That's still sad.
so a few points to that. Um, it's funny that because of that reason they didn't vote it, but it's even funnier that that's the profile of a woman. Like a woman is always fragile. I've seen women with big balls. I mean, they're real women, but I say they with more balls than men. They women first of all had to fight extra hard just to be accepted and recognized. But yet here we are. The profile of a woman is her being unbalanced, unhinged. That's something that was created and has been ironed into people's heads. That's part of the genetic makeup of a woman. Sometimes, men think with their balls, and I think it's the total opposite of being, emotional, is that we don't want to be punks. So we make the decision to make us look strong as opposed to the wise decision, like stepping back and trying to calm a situation. We want to be like, I ain't no punk. That's the profile of the average male. So somehow it got embedded in our heads that that's what the profile of a woman is in every woman. Now, first thing, and this is kind of to take a few steps back, the problem starts with Joe Biden and his balls not having the balls to say, you know what, I'm not fit for this. I need to step back. Because once he finally did, essentially, with 2 3 months left before the election, she really had to scramble. And excuse me, her team didn't do her well. Now her media appearances, what Tamron Hall's show or Good Morning America or Saturday Night Live, those shows, those are safe shows. Well, you can, like Good Morning America, you can share some of your policies, but it's already pre-written. You're going to focus on this. You're going to talk about this. It's already pre-scripted what they're going to talk about because they'll definitely be like, this subject is offhand. Do not bring it up. But the few interviews that she did do during her political run, her 2 month, campaign run, they weren't the greatest. Her team didn't have her well prepared. Watching the two or three that she did, her and you could go back. I'm sure they're on YouTube, whatever. She was asked questions, and even in one-on-one settings, she was like, her first response is, "Thank you for asking that. I really appreciate you being up for. The people need to know." She said that so many times. It's like you don't need to say that to me. To me, she was stalling. That her team didn't have her prepared. She it was like and I don't want to say shoestring budget because she garnered the funds to do it, but it's just the backing wasn't there. She she was she was a loaded automatic gun, and in some cases a jam. That's what I say. And all I can say is if we go back and if we do want to point the fingers, is that Joe Biden and the genetic makeup of a male, he didn't want to seem like a punk or back down. That when he should have backed down, that there should have been people telling him to back down, and they weren't telling him to back down. That she was getting such a shoestring, a short amount of time to get her campaign together, and to me it was half-assed. And you can't blame anybody else, Republican Party, on that. It all fell on the Democratic Party, whether it be Biden himself, her team, or whatever. It just It was too little, too late for him when he backed out to give her enough time to get a good run in to probably convince people that she is a worthy candidate. But yet again, we had males out there thinking, I'm not voting for a woman. I thought once we got past a black man being president, I thought anything was possible, and that being a woman. Hillary Clinton had a run at it, that didn't work out. Kamala Harris had a run at it, it didn't work out. Will it happen in our lifetime? I don't know. But not to stray off of these executive orders, there was plenty of executive orders that Trump signed off on that overridden pretty much mostly some of Joe Biden's already written out executive that was to the letter almost 4 years old. These are like around February 4th, 2021. So you could tell he really had it in for Joe Biden. One of the executive orders he overwrote was unleashing American energy. Basically, they want to start, you know, fracking or
Right.
whatever, digging in or whatever in Alaska, which has been untouched for a long time, but it's a resource. And now Trump is like, man, if it's there, why not? And really, I'm kind of on the fence with this. I know what it does when you're drilling oil. Eventually you're unsettling the earth. So eventually those plates have to resettle. So that's why we get the earthquakes that we have now. It's because we suck in the resources of the oil dry, and those plates have to settle. But if we're not fully committed to looking at other resources of energy right now, I mean, look, Jake, for example, everybody thought Tesla was great, with these Tesla cars, the Cybertrucks. But have you guys heard about the trouble they're having? It's a battery at the end of the day, keeping a charge on a battery in this cold winter. I got a friend that has a Tesla, and she tells me what she has to go through. And one of the things that I didn't know, I figured, if you charge it away. She said no. She was told to charge her Tesla up only up to 80%. Don't overcharge it past that unless you absolutely have to. So here we are.
Damage the battery.
Yeah. So we really thought we had an answer, but we don't have an answer. It's a part-time answer. Yeah, the price is great. There's literally no maintenance, but when it comes time to change that battery is going to run you $28,000. $28,000. And maybe I'm an old fogey stuck in my ways, but gas is all I've known. I mean, I'm driving a hybrid right now, but it still means it requires gas. So I'm not really fully committed to switch over to battery power. You know, hey, let's see what we can do with some solar power. We can see what we can do. No, seriously, what can we do with that? But at the end of the day, we're charging a battery.
The best way to go if we're talking about energy would be hydro. That'll be if that ever can make it efficient and that build up to the speed of the car and make it last longer, the longevity of it, that would be the way to go because that's clean energy there. And but that ain't Elon Musk ain't spend no effort in that. But
So in the
to
meantime,
me,
though, so in the meantime, cut a hole in your car and pedal like the Flintstones.
to me at least, they're trying. That's one of the few points that I'm not like really griping on. At least they're trying to find cleaner forms of energy. So I'm not really griping on that. What you think, Jerry?
So I agree with you about hydro. I did a small study about hydro technology. I think the reason why Elon Musk didn't go that route because I think someone already owned that technology. You know what I'm
That
saying? So
patent,
you can't steal like that kind of information, right?
that
So
patent,
so
yeah.
I guess yeah that patent. So I guess he went that way. Um but I was surprised that he actually reversed that because reversing it actually went against Elon Musk in a way because Biden was pushing for more electrical cars, right? Stop the gas, stop the drilling, and that go hand in hand with Elon. Seeing that Trump reversed it, it kind of take money out of Elon pocket in a way. I'm pretty sure he'd get it other ways since now he the head of Doge. He'll find ways to get it back in there. But it was just surprising that Trump even signed that executive order, knowing that him and Elon are buddies now. Yeah,
Definitely in
that's
bed.
all I have to say. Yeah.
So I'm gonna break down some more executive order statistics, but I want to throw some more at you, uh, which I think is heinous, and every president does it. They pardon people. First day, Donald Trump pardons all those convicted guilty of the insurrection, and I'll never forget that day because one, it's my birthday, January 6th, and at that time, me and Jeremy was working at the same job. We were working on a job in Indianapolis, and we're sitting down having dinner and here it is on the TV. We see all this chaos at the Capitol. All 1,600 have been pardoned. And I think, you stormed the Capitol building. Some people took a shit on executives' desk, just really, real blatant shit. But here you are, it's a flex of power. And I think wrong is wrong. 1,600 people got pardoned for storming the Capitol building, defacing the Capitol building, threatening bodily harm to those inside. Where one guard, he kind of led them on a wild goose chase. He kind of had them thinking that he was backing towards where they were at to protect them, but actually he was leading the crowd away from them so they could get away. So shout out to him. But yeah, what would have happened if they'd have got to those officials? I'm sure there would have been bodily harm done. There would have been, I mean, you seen the riffraffs that were there. What would have happened to the women that were in that Capitol building? Would they have been groped? Would they have been grabbed inappropriately, made to feel uncomfortable? Would the men been beaten up? Would somebody been killed? He pardoned all 1,600 of them. And that's every president does that. I'm a throw my favors here and throw my favors there. But those guys had intent on doing real harm to people that day, and they got pardoned.
I got a question with that, and I always have this question, even when that event happened. Why the hell is the National Guard not deployed to stop that? You got over 400 officers getting hurt in that instance, and people storming the Capitol. Some of them got the tactical gear on. Why the hell wasn't the National Guard deployed? And then the news feed kept showing Trump watching it, and then he said everybody go home, and then they all just decide to go home. Like, and then I hear there's so many theories with this. I hear now they got evidence of Nancy Pelosi being the ringleader. You said that for years. Like, bring the evidence out then.
Right.
Bring something out because the whole event don't make sense to me. That whole event don't make sense to me. If it's a threat on the Capitol where you have government officials, some officials, head of a state, like that's a threat. Why wasn't the National Guard deployed to
Well,
protect?
two things. The person that should have been deploying the National Guard was Trump himself. I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know why the governor didn't deploy it. And at the same time, where was I finna go with this? Um, wow, I lost my train of thought. I had a point.
It's okay.
hey, you getting old.
I'll take I'll take off. I'll
Go
take off.
ahead.
No, hey, but you mentioned that at that time it should have been Trump, but I don't think so. I don't think he had the power during that time. Because like according to what I seen and what I heard, it can be true. It can not. I'm not sure, but before that happened, Trump asked to have National Guard ready and prepared for this time. I'm not sure if he had in his mind what would happen. Maybe he was setting things. I don't know, but he was apparently denied to having that National Guard. And if that is true, that's the only way I can lean on. Maybe that's why he's doing a pardon because he asked for this assistance and it didn't happen and got out of hand. And also, I think it should be case to case. It shouldn't be a mass 1,600. You know what I'm saying? Because some people were there as bystanders and the camera caught them and they went because people doing minimum 5 years, 5 years minimum. You know what I'm saying? And they could be a bystander. So it should be case to case. It should not be a mass
I think it is
1,600
case
people.
to case. I think with the ones that had the 5 years, they blatantly caught them on camera doing some heinous act. And the
Okay.
point that I forgot that I do remember now, Trump was
Mhm.
actually egging that on for them to storm the Capitol. He
Well,
was
hold
he
on.
was actually egging that on.
I thought because just based off his recent press conference, he said all have been pardoned.
Yeah, all
Yes,
in part.
All have been.
even the
So
ones that's
Yeah.
been convicted, as
uh,
soon as that pardon was
yeah,
signed, they were let out.
yeah. So that's my thing. And somebody lost their life that day on
Hmm.
that because she was standing at the door and he shot through the door and shot her. She lost her life doing that. And those people, to me, I don't think ain't no way in hell. First of all, no offense to our black culture, we can't get 16 people to go out and shovel snow. So ain't no ain't no way we gonna have 1,600 of us go out there and do that. So how the hell does 1,600 people get together and the FBI ain't flagged, no CIA ain't flagged,
Well,
somebody like
you
that's
can do a peaceful protest, and they had the Capitol they had the Capitol security staff there. They wasn't expecting it to turn into that. They broke down
you.
barriers and gates and stuff to go past where they were where you're legally allowed to protest, as long as they set up designated areas and barriers. It's when they went past those barriers is when the law was broken. And if you ask me,
That's
that one lady that lost her life, everybody should be charged as an accessory to murder.
Dang.
No, really, that ain't that
what
what happens with
Yeah.
and this has happened in Chicago where a Chicago cop was killed, and probably in retaliation he shot the shooter, and the shooter was alive. But remember, the one guy was in the back car asleep when they shot that police officer, and we wondered what would become of him because he was asleep, but he was there. Was he charged as murder? I know the driver was. The shooter was the passenger in the front seat, but the driver got killed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
You remember
The
this
driver
right?
died.
But
Yeah.
what about that guy in the back seat? Was he charged with murder as well, the police officer? And again, he was asleep. So if you in the presence of wrongdoing, then you take that charge too.
Yeah.
well anyway now they
And
pardoned, so they
that's just what I think.
I'm
It don't
just
matter,
saying,
right? They pardon.
don't matter, they pardon.
And
They
speaking
they
of
free as
pardons, Joe Biden pardoned like five of his family members. Now you can do
Mhm.
this because this happened uh last term, I think, with Trump. You can pre-pardon a person even if they're before they're convicted of wrongdoing. So
That's
my
crazy.
question is, what did they do that he thought it was very likely they'd be brought up on charges? You know?
More
He
likely conspiracy, like you said, like it could, because conspiracy could get anybody. So if you know about some stuff, you know what I'm saying, even though you didn't participate, you can go down for it. So he probably was protecting that aspect too. If not the entire, I don't know.
right.
hey, I'm not. You, look, they can't criticize Joe Biden, and this man just pardoned 1,600 people. Like you can't even say nothing about you. That's what my thing though. It's so like one sided now. Like it's like people always say far left, far right. I don't believe it. I just think it's right and wrong, and people know they do wrong shit. They know.
And you know
Come
you're
on
doing wrong when you're
now.
doing wrong, right? It's like
Yeah.
when you're a kid and you're supposed to be asleep, but you sneaking downstairs to get a cookie and you trying to be quiet, you trying to be quiet, but as soon as you make a loud noise, you be like, oh shit, because you know you're doing wrong at that moment. Hey, speaking
That's
of
look.
which,
I don't want to cut you off, but I had a person tell me even an insane serial killer had to buy. So,
right,
so
right, they know
I'm
they
just
doing wrong. They know they doing
saying.
wrong. That's why they hid the bodies.
Go ahead, Roy. I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's just a crazy what if. What if what if Donald Trump pardons Diddy? I
Well,
I
don't
thought
want to.
about
okay,
I
that.
don't.
man.
I don't.
See,
I
let's
don't.
see.
I don't want to say R. Kelly because I would think even in his right mind, he know that is damn well wrong to be doing that to children over and over. So I didn't say what if he pardons R. Kelly, but what if he pardons Diddy?
The backlash he
Speechless,
was
son.
he his supporters would not they would not take that. They would not take that. Yeah, that's all
So
I got to say about that.
oh, another thing that I meant to mention is it was reported that Elon Musk posted a snapshot of people that attended Diddy parties, and that it was up on his social media account on I believe X for a moment. Then he took it down. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
No,
But ain't that
first
some
time
wild
hearing
shit?
it. I did want to discuss something pertaining to the inauguration. Not to jump back on our topics, but one thing Trump did bring in the inauguration, he was talking about the most violent cities in the U.S. And he was saying, "Oh, they're all Democrats. They're all Democrats." And if you look up the most violent cities in the U.S., majority of them are Republican. And number one, and I'll go down the list for you, so everybody can hear me. Is Missouri, St. Louis. That's the number one most violent city in the
and
U.S.
and that's a
And that's
Republican state,
that's
correct?
that's a Republican. Mike Kehoe, that's the governor, Republican. That's Tennessee, Memphis, Bill Lee, Republican. Mississippi, Jackson, Tate Reeves, Republican. It ain't until you get to the fourth one that you get a Democrat, and that's Michigan, Detroit,
Okay,
and then you
so
got
we were talking about this. Everybody would assume right off the bat that Chicago or Illinois, for that case, would be up there. It's been some years since Chicago has been the quote unquote murder capital, right? This goes back to 2016 when we were last at top of the
yeah,
list, correct?
yes, we're at the number one homicide, 723
Yeah,
that
so
year.
kill that Chirac bullshit.
Yeah,
You just
yeah,
encouraging that.
we 18
No,
on the list.
if you guys still look at like the actual total number, we still up there. It's just that we so big, the murder per capita it brings it back down. But
So
total
we're
number,
talking about we're talking about we're
we still
talking
up there.
about by state. Now you're talking
Yeah,
about per city because Illinois was
yeah, I'm
never
talking
up
about per
there. It
city.
was always Chicago, the
Yeah,
city. So there's
yeah,
the murder
Chicago is
capital by
huge.
state.
Like
Yeah,
Chicago,
it
like
is
what,
yeah.
very
20
huge.
million? So
It's like the
I'm looking
second
right
or
Three,
now.
third
three
largest
million,
state.
3 million. But
City, I'm
you
sorry.
see, per capita, you're talking about the rate. So they're
Yeah,
murdered. They're murdered
yeah.
over 20 years. St. Louis is murdering more people than or having
Mm,
violent incidents at a faster rate than Chicago. so,
mhm.
so yeah, you're talking about the rate. So even though it's a lot of people in more people in Chicago than St. Louis,
Yeah.
you still talking about a faster rate. They still out there busting busting heads out and doing other stuff.
So look, and this is to the audience. I've been reading these statistics about the executive orders. I'm gonna try to find a way, working with Brandon, he's our tech guy, how we can post this website so that you can see it for yourself. But one statistic I want to get back to is the number of how many executive orders were signed at the start of the last 16 administrations. Now, for the number one for the first day with the most executive orders is no surprise, Donald Trump with 26. But at the same time, number two on the first day, number of most executive orders signed was between the years of 2021 and 2025. Joe Biden's presidency, he signed a total of nine. So 26 to 9, those are the highest ones. And then the next ones, it's easy not to go overcrowded in this demographic. On the first day, Donald Trump in his first term of office and Bill Clinton in his first term of office, they both signed one. But here he is in his second term, and he signed 26 in the first day. That's in the first day. Now, the most in the first week is guess who it is again? Donald Trump, 27 the first week, because I guess he signed one today as well. So there's the 27th. So in the first week, the second one behind him is actually Joe Biden with 22, but he was coming in from behind Donald Trump's first presidency, and I guess most of those were to override what he had put in order. So the number one president in term to sign the most executive orders in the first 100 days was Harry S. Truman. We're talking 1945 to 1953, and that was 57, followed by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was his predecessor, with 51. And I have to mention, because it comes in current, the third one was Joe Biden. He signed 42 executive orders during his term as president. That's some crazy shit, you know. Well, we know once Donald Trump ran, he had an itching for a quote unquote a trigger to pull. You know,
Yeah.
I kind of attribute it to Yosemite Sam. He like, oh yeah, wait till I get them dang rabbits, you know. So he couldn't help but wait. But I would suspect if we go back and look at Joe Biden's, it was probably him overwriting some of the stuff that uh, Donald Trump had written during his first term. But yeah, we're gonna find a way to post this website so you can see for yourself.
I
Um,
just
so the last one I want to touch on, unless you got something to piggyback on, is
well,
the deportation of the immigrants. Now,
okay.
with my schedule, I haven't seen the news in a couple of days, but I heard from somebody, so I can't confirm it, that they did start. The plan was to start doing deportations here in Illinois first. We film here live in Illinois. That's why we speak so highly of it. You know, that's why Jeremy said number 33, Scottie Pippen. When I say the true GOAT is number 33, Lonzo Mourning. You know, maybe Patrick Ewing, number two. But yeah, we filmed this in Illinois. Uh, we were the first ones they were going after, being because our former mayor, Lori Lightfoot, or Aunt Lori as they called her when they had the COVID curfews, and Governor Pritzker were big adversaries, real big vocal adversaries to Donald Trump during his first presidency. They were the ones outspoken. So it wouldn't surprise me that Illinois would be the first ones he goes after just to prove a point. And but according to him, they were only going after immigrants that had criminal records, and they were going after specific targets. They attribute immigrants to certain jobs, so they were going after restaurants, they were going after laundry mats and stuff like that, grocery stores, produce, or whatever, occupations like that. But I haven't heard any confirmed deportations, but I heard secondhand that there was some here in Illinois. Have you guys heard anything about any deportations? This would have started
I
yesterday.
I see that schools are sending immigrant families letters. I see that started. That's the only thing I've heard so far.
Mm.
Yeah.
Saying what though? Warning, like what the letters are saying.
That basically so amount of time your kid's not going to be allowed to the school and stuff like that. So that's the only thing I've heard. That's not
You
confirmed.
didn't get a letter? You from
So,
Haiti, right?
yeah, I'm from South Africa. I'm with
No.
Elon Musk. Let me stop.
No,
Let
that was a joke on my
me
part.
stop.
But no,
Let me stop.
I haven't had anything confirmed, and that's because I haven't been watching the news. My schedule is kind of wacky right now, so I haven't heard anything confirmed about deportations. But I did had the sights set on certain jobs, and that the owners of these business would have to have some type of document. I forgot what it's called, on hand, on demand when they're requested to prove that their employees are American citizens, or if they are, on a visa or whatever they came over here, looking for immigration, that their paperwork is in order, so to say. And even
I'm sure.
we talked about this before, and correct, I know I'm going to mess up the term, but something like birthrights don't matter.
Birth, birthright citizenship.
Yeah, that they're
Birth
willing to break
citizenship.
up homes based on you not have. Is that it's either hey, Joe Blow who's living with you, he's going back home. Now you can go with him. We don't have to break up the home. You can go with him, but he definitely leaving.
Well,
You know.
well, you see, not to jump back, but you see that's one of the executive orders that he has signed to end birthright citizenship, and that is basically, you know, I think that would go against. I don't know if it'll pass the courts because again, they are in control of a lot of things, Republicans. But if it does, that goes to me. That would go against the Constitution
Yeah.
because it states you're born here, you're an American citizen, or you're naturalized. I think the term they use is naturalized here. You're born a American citizen. You're a
Hmm.
U.S. citizen. So I think it goes against the Constitution, which I don't think that could pass. But again, they are in control of a lot of things. So
Also, I
So
think they're trying to attack the verbiage of that line. You know what I'm saying? Like birthright has a defined definition, I guess, in the Constitution, and their plan is to attack the meaning and how they define birthright. I'm not sure how they're gonna do it, but they're trying to. Yeah, I just want to add that.
so it probably goes
well,
under this executive order. It's called protecting the American people against invasion. This goes under the subject of immigration. So yeah, what we're talking about now it probably is under this protecting the American people against invasion. And under that, there's talks about completing the wall that he was building along the Mexican border, which I would say he started it during his presidency. Of course, we stopped when Biden got in office. We didn't tear it down, but what's the sense of having half a wall up? And I'm all for, people trying to come here for a better life, but let's do it through the correct channel, through the proper channels. There's so many that got here legally. I mean, they cross, Texas, Arizona, whatever, and they've migrated into places like shit, New York, Chicago, Minnesota, and places like that. So I'm not against people coming here for a better life, but just don't, sneak in, follow the proper channels. Uh, One of the things I was talking about that contraband, protecting the borders or whatever. There's this thing where a lot of Venezuelans are trying to come into the United States and they seek asylum in Mexico, but they're waiting for their day in court in Mexico. And so while they're playing the waiting game, some people are so disillusioned by their living conditions, they are trying to sneak over here, across the border. And if they do make it across the border, of course, they're taken into custody. And they felt like this was a way to move the paperwork along a whole lot quicker to getting, citizenship. Or it's better, hey, I'd rather wait in American jail for my waiting turn than to be waiting in Mexico, for my name to be called. So yeah, so that executive order is called Protecting the American People Against Invasion.
I think that'll tie into another executive order that I just want to highlight and ask y'all opinion on one quick question for y'all. Now the executive order is 11246. Remember that. That's the order that was written for us, basically the affirmative action and the DEI that they're trying to kill, or they're killed basically today. Basically that fights discrimination at work for your sex, religion, your race, all those
Disabilities.
things, disabilities. That fights that or eliminates that to me, to me, I'm not in support of a merit-based system. When the merit-based system, we have to trust that you're going to be just and you're going to be fair. There's nothing to incentivize you to be based on merit. That's my problem. I take with it, taking that away, because nothing incentivizes you anymore. With the DEI stuff, at least the funding or the incentive was you can get money from the government if you follow these practices. Now it's nothing to incentivize them to do that. And people talk about these DEI hires. There's no such thing to me. I feel like there are bad hires before DEI, and then there's bad hires after. You had a bad hire, but there are people that are still qualified for the job that look like me, look like you, look like Asians, look like Native Americans, look like Irish people, look like Polish. It's still people that's qualified. And I think this taking this away takes away from the incentive. How do you guys think this merit-based program is going to go towards the future?
So, you know, this affirmative action, this started years, ways before you guys were even a thought. And it was to kind of even the playing field, so to say, to give us an opportunity. But I feel, and I don't think this is a coonish response. We're gonna talk about cooning in a few minutes, though. But how long do you get that free meal ticket? You get an easy ride until it kind of reverses, like, oh shit, we got to hire this, we got to hire that, and then you being white in America, now you're being discriminated. I think, at some point we needed that push, we needed that little extra boost, but I don't think it's something that needed to go on forever. Because then
what
again, it
was
kind it kind of turns into reverse racism, if you ask me.
what was the easy ride?
Hmm? Well,
You said
affirmative
to
action.
have the easy.
Affirmative action. You know, a business had to hire so many blacks, so many females, and if they were smart about it, they hired a black female. They killed two quotas with one hire or whatever. So we're allowing people to get in, and were we doing it for competency? Basically, I hope we can get to a point where a person is hired on their skill level and not
I get you
the
on that.
color in the skin.
I get you. I get you on that point, but that implies that basically they just hired them because they was black and not qualified, which kind of is
You
bad.
don't
That's
think that
bad
they
on
weren't
them.
just you don't think they were hiring people just because of their they were black, they were female, just to fill that quota. And
I'm
in a
sure they
sense they
were.
probably could have hired a perfect candidate, but maybe they just hired somebody just to fill that quota and just move on.
I'm sure they were, but that's bad on them because there are plenty of black people that are qualified.
Yeah.
They didn't even look at them. They just looked at their race. So
Were they
that's bad on
hiring?
them.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like they
bad
had
on
a
them.
they had a mandate to hire a certain type, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and again, it was during a time where we weren't getting opportunities, where we wasn't getting jobs. So, in a sense, when it first started out, it came from a good place. So actually, you know what? Let's give them a try. Let's see what they're really about, and show that we are some really intelligent, hardworking people. We are. But it's unfortunately they had to create a law just to get us, in the door. But my thing is, how long do we keep that law going? And, until it turns into reverse racism. You have the more qualified, let's say, Caucasian, but you have the second or third best qualified, African American. But here is, I have to meet this mandate, and like I said, it turns into reverse. At some point, it turns into reverse racism.
But what's to stop them from going back to where it was before, where the
Nothing.
qualified blacks didn't get nothing?
I see your
That's my
point.
feeling.
I see your
Yeah.
point, but it's sometimes, you know what? I think we got enough people in industries in general, and I say industries. We got billionaires that own business, that own corporations, that have the pull to get people in. So how come they can't, build a means for us to get in there and stop relying on the government to do something? It's just like, you know, to me, I was taught, when people extended themselves to help me out and to get where I'm at now, I was always told, once you get there, don't forget that you have the power to empower people and help people and break them in and get them in and help them out too. We should be,
Well, that mindset of the Rosewood mentality that don't spread throughout our community. I hate to say that. How we can come together and build each other up. That Rosewood mentality don't spread everywhere. We got a lot of own people hating on each other, and this speak to a bigger issue. But we got a lot of our own people hating on each other and being the crabs in the barrel instead of the support beings. Like
right?
we ain't doing that. Like, and I like seeing the story of like people like Donnell Rollins with Dave Chappelle. He knew his role. He knew Dave Chappelle was the star. I got his back. I'm gonna support that. Charlie Murphy was his guy. I'm gonna support
Hey,
that. But
so
Eddie,
last week
that's
we was using Iron Man and Bruce Wayne as examples. Now we using Ashy Larry and Beautiful.
hey,
No,
hey,
but I
universal,
no, I get
universal.
I get the analogies, and then for the record for myself, when I say now that I'm in a position to help others move along, I'm not just limiting it to race. I'm willing to help anybody that's showing the drive to grow. I got a guy that works with me now. He started in the warehouse. He knows the ins and out of the warehouse to this day. He knows how to, get things to ship in. He knows how to invoice, all that good stuff. Then he went to a service coordinator. He knows all the ins and outs of getting orders placed, getting them rushed. And when I came along, he was transitioning into field service because he felt he had peaked at a service coordinator. So I hated to lose him as a service coordinator, but I saw the potential in him and how thorough he is. I know he's going to grow to be a great field service engineer. So it's not just race of colors. It's just you got to show me the want, and I will try to help you the best way I can to grow. And I literally think, and it's funny, and it kind of reminds me of the story. Brent, Jeremy, you'll know this. That job we had in Philadelphia that started with them three coders. There was a guy there that was the head guy in charge. 10 years prior, he was a janitor, but he took the classes and he grew and he became the head of that facility. So there is room to grow. You just gotta have to want to grow. And this guy right now that's in field service, I can see him being, the head guy in the building, 10 years down the road just as well. So it's not about race and color. It's about drive and motivation, about wanting to do something and not just being content about, no, I want to raise, no, I want to grow. I've done this for so long, I've mastered it. I want to try something new. I want to start from the bottom with this and grow with it. So in my eyes, and it's heavily agreed upon, this guy is going to be one hell of a field service technician, down the road because he has that drive, the motivation to learn. So I'm all about helping anybody. I'm not abiding by, affirmative action rules. I'm abiding by being firm on doing some action, making some action happen. So and that doesn't come on the base of your color or your gender. Just show me the drive and the want, and I'll back you 100%.
What's your
That's it.
thoughts, Jeremy? We skipped
Yeah.
over you, even though you're the
No, man,
quiet one.
you
We skipped.
guys, you guys was cooking, bro. You guys are cooking. You guys have both two, like two different viewpoints on it. So I'll let you guys cook. But it's funny. I'm not making it up. I know I say I'm always in the middle and everything, but seriously, like literally 2 months ago, I was on the Elroy side. I was, yeah, we need a merit-based system, and it could have been me speaking from privilege. You know what I'm saying? The position that I have, I feel comfortable. You know, but like Elroy say, like there's a stigma on Black people. And the stigma is what? Like lazy, don't know how to work, don't work hard. So if they have that stigma without this DEI, how do they even get in the door to grow as everyone talking about that guy who's growing right now in this facility? Right. So and so now I'm leaning more towards it, even though for the longest, I was more so about marriage, and I think I don't know if this is the right time to change it, but we will it's gonna be found out. We're gonna find out. But I don't know if it's gonna actually help or not. So I'm just waiting to see how it all pans out because yeah, I'm definitely now on your side with this, brother.
At some point,
I
you got to get off the titty.
I want
No,
to bring
I hear
up.
you.
I want to
Yeah.
bring up just from my experience with this though, because we all come from the same form of company, but we all, or at least our circle, knew what I was trying to do. Like from my experience, what I wanted to do, that opportunity wasn't given to me, and then somebody willing to learn and gain the skill and knowledge, I had to go outside of that company because they weren't offering give me the opportunity. And I'm not saying this bias or anything applies to that form of conduct or anything like that. I'm not trying to say that. But in that example, I was seeking the knowledge, saying, hey, put me in that position. I'm a shine for you. And I was never put in that position. I had to go outside of that company to another company to shine in my position. And that's my thing with that. A lot of people don't, and I'm grateful, thankful for God for allowing me the ability to do that and gain the skills and knowledge. But a lot of people in our community don't get that opportunity, and they'll be put in a position and stuck in that position and hitting the door that's not open, no matter what they do. And that's my fear with coming with this merit based system. You're not gonna you're not gonna give people that opportunity that's trying to grow.
You
If
see,
you
Brent.
got the knowledge, I'm sorry to cut you off, Jerry.
No,
But
go
if you
ahead.
got the
You talking, go
knowledge,
ahead.
if you got the knowledge and you just safeguarding it and don't want to give it to nobody else, nobody grows with you. And that's how I feel a lot of people with this merit-based system in place gonna act and pushing people of the minorities or people of the less privileged, people with the less resources, not gonna get that opportunity, whether black, white, indifferent, whatever. That's how I feel. But what was you gonna say, Jeremy?
No, I was just gonna say because you brought it. I'm not gonna get too personal, but you brought it personal. I had a question to ask you. This current job you have, you think you got it off your merit, or do you think you got it off the DEI organization or movement?
I
You
think
think
I
you
got
got
it
it
off
from
my
your
merit.
merit? Yeah. So
And
so
then
you
the thing that got off my merit, and not to brag or nothing, but
yeah.
it was shown. That first year I was there, what did I do? I helped increase profits. I helped increase savings just from my skill. And I wasn't doing no accounting. I created production. I created production and I made them more efficient. That's me. Just me. One man from skill. That's what I'm saying. You get it off of your skill, nobody can deny you nothing.
Hey, I'm gonna need you to
That's
tone it
how
down and be
I
a little bit more humble.
nah,
No, you
but
know what? No,
I'm speaking facts. I'm speaking facts though.
let me double down on you, and
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of both of you guys. I definitely think you got it off your merit. You know, you got a strong work ethic, a strong drive to grow. I feel that you're in the position that you're meant to be in based on the work that you put in.
E- Exactly.
And
That's what I'm
so
saying though.
with you
But
too,
if I
Jeremy,
stick,
uh, we talk off the books and things that's going on with you. You got it based off American, the work you put the work you put in.
Appreciate that, fella. I really
Okay,
do.
I thought he
No,
spaced
I
out
just
on
asked that
you.
question. No, I just asked that question because I knew personally Brandon his life has it went is based on merit, so it more so aligns with your viewpoints there. Elroy. So I was trying to connect the dots with that. Even though like he look out for other people's experiences, it was just something I wanted to bring to a light. So you know what I mean? Like his,
Well, no, and I've said
he,
that before. You guys brought me in and when invited me into your world, so to say, with the job, and even further with that, a friendship. It's unfortunate that you guys were the most patient ones, but you guys were the ones always out on the road. So I was getting bits and crumbs and leftover meals, so to say, to get my hands dirty. And my motto was the more you show me, the less you have to do. We're making it an even playing field where it doesn't rely so heavy on you. Oh, but I'd have played stupid if I had to go to India though. So yeah, let's move on. And I like this conversation that we're having. But let's play a game called Is It Cooning?
mm,
Nelly and Snoop Dogg both performed at the inaugural ball for Donald J. Trump. Now, as black people, are we calling it cooning because he's performing for a white man? I mean, we did it for Bill Clinton, and we wanted to say Bill Clinton was a nigga too, but we perform shows for Bill Clinton too. But here we are, we're kind of coming down on Nelly and Snoop Dogg for performing at the inaugural ball. But I say this also, be careful what you say in the past so it doesn't disrupt your future. There's a video out during after Trump's first victory, Snoop Dogg make this video. He said, and it's been all over social media, and you'll remember it too. And it's been replaying a lot lately. Snoop Dogg is here looking in the camera. He said, "Who is it going to be? Is it going to be you that coon and dance and perform for Donald Trump? Is you gonna be that nigga? I be that nigga. I be that nigga, boss. That's Snoop Dogg's whole mo. And here we are, 8 years later, so to say, and he's performing live on stage for Donald Trump. So be careful what you say in your past. You know, I I've always wanted to. I've always had these things called discrepancies in rap where you contradicted yourself. Like the Beastie Boys had a line said White Castle fries only come in one size. Now, at that point, it did, but they did start making small, medium, and large. Uh, Ice Cube had a line in his diss song, "I'll never have a dinner with the president. I'll never have a dinner with the president." But did he end up going to a presidential dinner that you could think of?
I don't remember.
Does that sound familiar? But I think he did, and forgive me if I'm wrong. But there's one more. MC Light said in a song, "You never catch me on a Jeopardy game show." I seen a couple of rappers on Jeopardy. I'm just waiting for MC Light to get on there so I can get on her Twitter. I'm like, you fucking liar. But it all goes back to Snoop Dogg, back in 2016, saying, who's gonna be that coon? And look who you are. You probably wasn't the first, but you came with one of those coons, so you're a contradiction to yourself. But that again, I come with the same point. Is he really cooning? Because he's performing for Donald Trump. Because a lot of people, a lot of black artists perform for Bill Clinton, and they took it as a badge of honor. But still, they were still singing and dancing for a white gentleman. So, was it cool cooning? Is that such a thing? But Snoop Dogg, you definitely made yourself a contradiction by that. And Nelly, your performance, you went all out. You had the Hail to the Chief playing in the background. You showing your uncles and aunts who was in the service and everything. You paying tribute to them. And you're known for songs called "It's Hot in Here" and "Tip Drill" and running a credit card down a girl's ass and everything. And all of a sudden and he said this. He was on Willie D's podcast show saying that he was honored to be performing for Donald Trump. So I think there is a little slight cooning in there, but and we're always our biggest critic. But I ask you, the viewers that watch this, is it cooning? What's your opinion? What do you think? To me, I think Snoop Dogg is cooning because he went back on his word. Nelly, he's a quarter cooning because he came off like trying to be all disrespectful when he's like, "Drop down and get your ego on, girl." I'm like, I wanted to really see his song selection. I heard Kelly Rowland denied him from using dilemma in his set because she didn't want to have, no ties to that whatsoever. So I guess she had some type of ownership in the song. She denied him from performing that song. But yeah, like really,
I
I
don't
really
mind.
want to know what was his playlist to perform in front of the president. And they showed the video of the crowd. It was nothing but white folk. It was older white folks that was just tipsy, and they were just down, and they don't listen to that stuff on the normal every day. This is way past their type of music. We're talking about older people in their 60s and 70s where rap to them was called crap. It's not music to them. But yeah, they was having a good time. They had they phones out. They was recording, Nelly shucking and jiving for them, on the live stage. But really, how do you guys feel? Do you think they're cooning, or are we just being too hard on them?
I'm not. I'm a little hesitant to call people cooning because cooning, what I consider cooning, is like uh Samuel Jackson character in Django. That's what I consider cooning to me. That's what I consider cooning.
He
But with
calling
Snoop,
he calling Jamie Foxx all type of niggas. I'm like, hey, you looked in the mirror, motherfucker. I'm gonna burn
that's
them.
what I.
I'm a burn them sheets when he leave. He was going in deep, but that was just a character.
Yes, that's what I consider cooning. Now with Snoop Dogg, I definitely think it's some definitely forms of being a hypocrite. Like he's to say so strongly, I'm gonna clown you if you do it, and then you go do it. You're a hypocrite, bro, and you can't then like say nah, I didn't say that. It's on video. You
And
saying
let
it,
the action speak for
and
himself. He couldn't even find
yeah,
a DJ. He had to DJ for himself. Because when nobody DJ Crazy Tunes was like, hell no, I ain't doing that shit. DJ Woody Wood, fuck that shit. I want a gig, but I ain't doing that motherfucker. I'll pass. He
and
had
with
to he had to DJ his own music.
with Nelly, I don't. To me, I just think I get you on to honor the office, right? Honor the office, and it's cool if the president being a president or the statue of president means something to you. But don't say, oh, he didn't give us the crime bill. He didn't do this. He didn't do uh, war on drugs and all that. When you know this man has done some racist things, said racist remarks, don't do it that way. Just the way he did it kind of make it feel like he's kind of cooning a little bit. And I hate to even use that term for him. Just the way he did it is like, oh, I'm defending you. You're not your position. Your position there is just to perform. Just perform. Don't be there defending the man or the president that means something to you. Because to me, it feels like you're doing a little bit of a coon. Like even with Soldier Boy, Soldier Boy was like, well, I think his term was black people didn't put money in my pocket. Donald Trump put money in my pocket, and I'm like, so money trump morals to you. That's what I got from his take. And too
And
much of that.
personally, that's not true. 50 Cent gifted him a studio bus. A studio bus, literally, you can record on the bus and tour the sound. He gifted that, I guess, because 50 saw something in him. So don't say nobody never done nothing for you. You know,
That's my thing with him too. Like, and there's too much of that stuff going on in the world. Morals over money over morals is like a big thing now, and it's definitely a stain on our society today.
So I kind of
I
gave it was contemplating why would Nelly and Snoop Dogg do these inaugural balls? Still trying to figure out Snoop Dogg's motives. But Nelly, I think he's probably hurting for cash. He sold his music catalog for 50 million a couple of years ago. I'm like, why would you do that? Why don't you market and invest yourself? Why don't you develop a company to shop your music to use it in commercials or jingles or whatever, or get them in movies or whatever? But I think Nelly hurt for cash. That's why also why he settled down with Ashanti. He know he fucked that over. By the grace of God, she gave him a second chance. He said, I ain't fucking this up. So he put a baby in there, to solidify his bag and probably living off of. But yeah, hell, I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't think we talked about this. So the $70 million settlement that Ti got for the likeness of his daughter, they pushed that back and they only giving him like 17 million. So I'm wondering if he's gonna unretire because he thought he had that money sold up. So now he's getting 17. I wonder, can I book his ass for a show now? Is he still taking orders? I'm sure if they'd invited him, he'd be like, I'm the rubber band man. I'm up there with Trump and Trump up there with him. He'd have probably been up there cooning too.
Man, I think you guys have been too hard, man. For one, Ti, he's still rich. He got so many business he got going on. Like he actually run Atlanta, so he don't need to do any more. He in movies. He don't got to do any more of that. But I
Yeah,
think look at Brandon.
somebody's a Ti fan.
Nah, I'm just a
That's the
fan,
Donald
bro.
Trump
I'm
dance.
just
That is kind of like he was doing that to
yeah,
YMCA.
yeah. He did it twice. He did it twice.
YMCA. Yeah. No, I'm
my
serious.
my bad, Jeremy. My
But
bad.
no,
No, you are good, man.
it's just really a question. Is it cooning? I think for Snoop Dogg, yes, it is, because first he put that video out. Now he got to change your heart, and he's doing it. I just like be careful what you say and stand strong on it. What made you change your mind? I don't think Snoop is hurting for money. Snoop has found ways to reinvent himself. You know, doing cook shows with Martha Stewart, just all kind of stuff. Snoop Dogg has always been able to reinvent himself, so I don't see him having the need to do it. But then again, I'm not his accountant. I don't know what's in his bank. Maybe he keeps reinventing himself because he spent himself dry. Having that weed roller on hand. I forgot how much he paid a guy to roll weed for him. He had a salary job.
Maybe best read roller in history.
Man, but no, I just want to know, how do you guys feel like, is it cooning?
Well, we gotta get Jeremy answer. We didn't get Jeremy back.
So to me, man, I would never say they cooning. I would never say they cooning. But if you had to rank them, I would say Soldier Boy, his actions was sounded like a little bit coonish, right? To blame it on money rather than just stand on what you want to do, right? I don't think it was just for money. It was could have been, right? But I don't think it was. I think there's some things about Trump since he's in the higher earning range that he thinks he benefit from, right? And I think and that's why he chose to go because he know most people in his community is against it. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that he knows that and still did it, I hate the fact that he wanted to make take the easy way out and just say, "Oh, money, this is why," right? And then flash money. That's just stand on it, right? But
Hmm.
as far as Nelly, no, I think people are entitled to change their minds or even decide what party they want to run with, right? And I think in order to call him a coon, man, you gotta look at his background. You know what I'm saying? I would never call a man a coon who has a black wife, black kids. You know what I'm saying? And who actually being involved in the community. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he Uncle Ruckus on Boondocks. You know what I'm saying? He not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And you feel me? And same go for Snoop. Like if you look at his upbringing, he came from the hard knocks music, and he's in everything now. He's in every single genre. He's in country. He's in Food Networks. He's in comedy. He's in football. I mean sports. He's everywhere. So I don't know if he's doing this for
Don't forget
his own
Soul
pro.
Plane. I think that's a blackout of anybody that was involved with that shit. Soul Plane. Kevin Hart,
I
all
forgot
them
he was in
motherfuckers.
Soul Plane. I thought he was in
He was
Soul
the
Plane. He was in
pilot.
Soul Plane.
Yeah, he's
Snoop
the
was the
pilot.
pilot.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I
You
feel about
you can't come back from Soul Plane. Hey, but
that.
this we kind of, I ain't gonna say we ran past the limit, but we got to kind of move on a little bit
Yeah,
because I have a bedtime. I got to get up early in the morning. But I think I don't think this is just a one-stop conversation. I think we got 4 years to continue talking about uh his actions in office. But yeah, we had to point out some of the things that occurred during this inauguration period. Uh, so I mean, if you're cool with it and you want to move on to the next subject, we
yeah,
can
for
do that.
sure.
But if not, if you got more to add, then I'm listening.
I think it's time we do our fun facts in the show.
Alrighty, so I guess we came up with a bunch of different fun facts. Being that The 20th was Martin Luther King's birthday, and it was also the inauguration day. I came up with a few presidential fun facts, and Brandon came up with a few facts about Martin Luther King. During the pre-show, he was sharing something on with me, and I'm sure you'll find it amazing. But not to go, no further ado, we're just gonna go into our fun facts. I'm gonna just go out run off these presidential fun facts. 'Cause I don't think there's too much rebuttal. I think there's gonna be more rebuttal, Brandon, from you on the fun facts that you have. So what I grabbed right quick, and it's probably not amazing that Abraham Lincoln was the tallest president at 6 feet 4 inches. Another fun fact was the first left-handed president was James Garfield, our 20th president. Uh, Here's one that's just weird. They just threw anything out there. Millard Fillmore, the 13th president, was the first president to have a stepmother. They was really reaching with that stuff right there. The only president to have studied and become a medical doctor was William Henry Harrison, the ninth president. He also had the shortest term. He died while in office. Forgot what it was. Well, eventually the heart stopped beating. uh, The White House first website went online in 1994 during President Bill Clinton's administration. Not too much rebuttal on that. Those were my fun presidential fun facts. So Brandon, why don't you hit us with those Martin Luther King fun facts?
Well, mine is pretty easy, but Martin Luther King was definitely a smart man, as everybody know. He skipped ninth grade and 12th grade, went to college at 15. He's done over 2,500 public speaking events and speeches, which is crazy. Uh, One thing that I thought was very interesting is, excuse me, is the he did the Montgomery boycott, bus boycott, which is 381 days for doing it, which is crazy. That's another amazing off the top. And his holiday and his birthday wasn't recognized by all states in the U.S. until the early 2000s, which is crazy. It took so long for that too. So those are my quick little fun facts about
So I
Martin Luther
got I
King.
got two more to add because you didn't mention two of them that I
Um,
seen. You know,
uh,
because everybody know him as his name, MLK Day, Martin Luther King, right? His his name is not Martin Luther. Well, it could have been Luther, but it's not Martin. It was Michael. Michael King is his actually real name. His father, it was changed, I think, age 5. His father changed it. That's one. Also, he uh he was the first 50 Cent. Like he was stabbed 57 times. You know what I'm saying? Survived it. So you know what I'm saying? He stabbed 7 times. He survived it. And actually, a woman stabbed him. Yeah. So,
I
but they
actually
actually claim
I
that
actually knew
they
that because Martin Luther King
yeah,
put that out on a mixtape.
yeah they actually claim that to be hey, they actually try to claim that to be a second assassination or the first assassination. I'm like, nah, it wasn't. I think it was more personal, but yeah, those are my two.
hey,
So
hey,
now
you
that
can
you
say
mentioned that, uh,
Yeah,
Donald Trump did mention that he's going to release the files on Martin Luther King's assassination, along as John Kennedy and his brother Robert as well. So that'd be interesting to see.
that'd be nice. Yeah,
I think you know
yeah.
what, these secrets can only be held for so long. And I'm sure there's a lot that hasn't been told that would really wow the people. So I think it's been a long enough wait period to, out of respect, the media, family, the wise, whatever. I think it's time to open those files and make them public to people.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like slowly and surely they on the sly, they opening up the secrets about Area 51. They're gonna let us know what the aliens look like.
Hey, I just want to throw in Martin Luther King was the original gangster because he been to jail 30 times.
That was on his second mixtape. I remember that. They used to play that on the crank it up radio all the time. So I got a fact and it's not fun. No matter where you are in America, if you on Martin Luther King Drive right now and it's night, run. It's the most violent street. It's the most violent street named after a man that symbolizes nonviolence.
You, you broke.
Somebody is getting robbed, shot, or getting their Jordans took at this moment on MLK Boulevard.
You-
That's a fact. It's not fun, but it's a fact.
yeah, man.
You know
That
what? I
cold
kind
blood.
of believe it. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if you're joking, but I kind of low key believe
No,
it.
all the MLKs that I know
Cold blooded,
about
man.
is they're bad neighborhoods.
Cold blooded, man.
So I guess this episode is sponsored by Ice Mountain Spring Water. Drink responsibly.
uh, I think it's been another amazing episode. We definitely entertained, informed, and inspired today.
Yes, we did. And we really put in our work doing this. We sat down, we had our meeting, we strategized, and we did research on our own to bring more facts to the table. And this just shows us our growth. Although I like to believe if you go back and look at episode 32 when I wasn't present, Jeremy talked a whole lot. So when I first time I got
There
wind
you
to
go,
talk to
man.
him, I said, am I your kryptonite? Am I holding you back?" But no, it's great to see the growth, Jeremy. I mean, he's done plenty of shows, where I wasn't present and he had to step forward, but I still see the growth. I still see, you know, we're gonna next, pretty soon we're gonna be like, shut this motherfucker up, mute his mic. So the growth is
No,
great. We're
bro.
we're we're all growing in each in our own way, and that growth we all bring to the show, to the energy of the show. And I'm sorry I got to steal this from you. I'm on Martin Luther King, so I'm robbing you. Subscribe, like, and comment, because we're doing this. We're doing this for us, but we're hoping you'll like it too. So come join the family called What the Fellas Think. It's not a cult.
It's true. It's true. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.